What's up, guys? Phil from the attic here with another video for you guys on these Williams boots that I first had originally made a video on a while back. There's a lot of views on it compared to our other videos, but yeah, these I wanted to update you guys on them, how they're wearing in, how they've broken or have they fully broken in, and answer some of the questions that were in the comments. But yeah, to start off, to show you some of the wear, that they are starting to crease up, and they have creases all around. But yeah, I haven't cleaned these recently because I wanted to show you guys them, how they look like with the wear. But I believe I cleaned them, wiped them down, and conditioned them. Mink, I used the mink oil, I believe. Conditioned them twice, probably, maybe, since I've gotten them. But yeah, I've been wearing them a lot, not every day, but for everyday stuff like just work or casually and going out. But they break in really nicely. And to start off with to talk about the break-in process, you're supposed to start wearing them slow periods, short periods at a time, to make it less uncomfortable. So you just wear them a few hours at a time until you can work your way up to wearing them for a full day of work. But honestly, for me, the process wasn't too bad in these. I don't know if it's because I'm used to like some steel toe boots I have, or like the engineer Red Wings I have, which are super uncomfortable and still not broken in for me. But yeah, I think that these were not that bad of a break-in for me. I think they're fully broken in. They don't feel painful for me. I could wear them the whole day to work. Yeah, they don't have a steel toe. Like, they do recommend you to get non-steel toe if you don't need it for your job, because they do break in a lot quicker. They crease a lot on the toe area, so a lot of other brands will use like a hard composite toe or steel toe to keep that shape. Like fashion brands will keep those hard composite toes, or just to keep that shape to not crease as much. But these over time will look nicely and shape to your feet better, and they'll have those creases up there, which do age nicely. But the steel toe does make it a lot harder for that process. And yeah, these are the Williams. They discontinued them, and they have two similar boots that someone brought up. I think I mentioned the Roberts is very similar, and then there's the Ranger version, their Ranger version, that's also very similar. I believe the heel is more of like a normal looking heel, not like this Packer heel that has that slant. It's more of like a cowboy boot. But you can custom order those to have this heel if you want. They'll basically do anything if you can message them or request anything. And you could probably request this two-tone leather edge too. But yeah, I also swapped the laces. I told you guys about that. They came with leather laces. I used these black cotton laces that I had laying around my house. I personally just don't like leather laces. I like how they look, but I think they're just more inconvenient. I've had boots with leather laces that every time I'm tying them, every once in a while they'll rip if they're wet, or they just don't last long. And I like how the black cotton laces look on these. It makes it look more like sleekish. But yeah, let's see. One of the questions someone asked how much I paid. So these I got for around $400. It was when they had a sale, or they had it wasn't a sale, they just had like leftover boots where they were marking down either leftover boots or like seconds, or I'm guessing returns maybe. And they did it around, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe around Cyber Monday or Black Friday, which is coming up. So if you guys do see want to check it out on their website, they usually have good deals. I mean, normally their boots are in the 600 range, so that is 200 off basically, which is a great deal for Nick's quality. That's a great deal. Yeah, some people have mentioned that the heel looks like a women's shoe and that it's very feminine, but if you put them on, trust me, they look good. They're not feminine. They I'll put them on and show footage of how they look like. It's just a cowboy boot heel basically. If you have any cowboy boots, these are probably the exact same. It has that leather stack on there, which, yeah, they look great, and plus you look taller too when you wear these. But yeah, someone else also mentioned that the tread, not a lot of tread, but it is a heritage boot. You're not really doing crazy construction in these. I mean, you can if you want, but if you were gonna do some construction or some firefighting, I would pick up the Builder Pros or the Hot Shots. And yeah, these are part of their heritage line, which they have different styles and not necessarily crazy tread, but the tread on this is more of that like soft, harder plastic harder rubber that is, it's not as thick of a tread, but it's still like solid. And you can see the part that's wearing out the most for me is that heel. I'm starting to get a little bit of heel drag on both sides, but I believe that's from my driving when I drive in them. If you want to prevent that, you can also just carry them in your car, and once you get to work or whatever you're doing in them, you could put them on and try not driving in them. That helps wear out the heel faster. But you could always, resole them over time once it gets bad. Yeah, that's gonna probably be the fastest part to wear out for me. And yeah, I wanted to also mention that the break-in process could be easier if you also, every time you take them off, you store them with a shoe tree in them, preferably a cedar tree. Those cedar shoe trees, those help with the smell and the humidity and absorbs any moisture, because if you do wear these when they're raining or you sweat in them, the leather will absorb that and it will basically like shrink a bit. So if you do wear them in the rain and the next day you go to put them on, they feel tighter. That's because the moisture was absorbed by the leather, which helps it change shape, helps it form to another shape, because there was no foot inside. It shrunk a bit, which is the point of the shoe tree, to keep its shape and form so it doesn't shrink. But yeah, if you don't have any shoe trees for the moment, you can also just stuff a bunch of t-shirts or towels until you get some. Sometimes I'll also stuff the ankle area with some shirts or towels in there and keep its shape, because over time when you store the boot, it starts to sag. The ankle part starts to sag. Like if you look at some old Doc Martens or something, I mean, those have crappy leather anyways, but if you store these with a bunch of stuff inside, and it'll help create less creases. But also they recommend you storing your boots flat. So when you, like the way they come in the box like that, flat, you would put on your shelf flat like that, or sideways, which I need to be doing more. But yeah, you want to take care of them so they last you longer. Also, I would also recommend using the fake tongues that they provide. I forgot what these are called, but yeah, I'll call them fake tongues. And then the inner tongue, the real tongue, generally you have to, if you properly fold them, it'll make it last longer. So when I fold them over like that, when I'm tying them, I'll fold them over like so you can see almost like it's like a Z shape, and you can see that it naturally has that shape now because from me wearing it like that. But don't just, when you put your foot in, I wouldn't just bunch it up, because that'll make the tongue wear quicker. And also you don't want it bunched up inside your foot, because if you do sometimes tie it too tight and you have that bunched up material, you'll feel it rubbing up against your leg with the metal eyelets, and it'll feel like uncomfortable. But yeah, if you keep that natural fold, it goes all the way down to here. As you can see, that's where the tongue starts, where there's a stitching there. But yeah, try to fold it all the way down from there to here. So now it already has that natural fold in it. But the reason I said to that these are recommended to use, the fake tongues, is because the tongue wears out from the laces rubbing up against them, and you don't want to. I mean, whatever you can do to make this boot last longer is probably best to save you money and to keep them to your shape of your feet, you know. So you don't want to have more parts to replace. So like the tongue, you don't want to have to replace it when it has holes or like the laces rubbed up against them to thin them out. But if you have it on this and it's rubbing up against this, you can literally take this out and replace it with a new piece. They did throw me an extra pair in my box. I don't know if they normally do, but mine came with an extra pair. So once these are kind of destroyed, I could just throw on a new one instead of having to replace the whole tongue. And yeah, another part that I read that you're not supposed to, you should try to keep intact is the midsole area. That's like the upper part of the sole that's connected to the boot. That makes it harder to resole too when that's like worn out. But yeah, let's see what else. Any other questions? Sizing, I did go with, I believe it's a 9.5. Yeah, 9.5 D. So D is the width. That's I believe D is the normal width, and then 9.5. I normally wear 10.5s in most of my sneakers. I do have Red Wings that are 10 and then some 9.5s, but I believe you should definitely size down. I just went a full size. I know some people go half, some people go full, but if you're not sure, you can go on their website and they could send you a sample boot to try on. And I know, I believe Knicks and Whites both do that, where they'll send you a boot to try on and you'll find your size. You ship it back, and then you can decide what size to get. Basically, yeah, these are super wearable with any pants I wear these with, any jeans, they go with well. Yeah, that heel just adds that extra height to you too, if you want to look taller, but that's not why. Like, I just like the shape of the heel. I like that angle, that slight angle it has. I do like the logger style heel with just that chunkier heel, but this is just a different look. I do wear these often. I wear these for like 8-hour shifts or 10 hours, or I wear them to go out. I wear them all around, walking around, commuting, but they're super comfortable for me. The more they break in, the more comfortable they get for me, and I can't get enough of these. I probably wear these the most out of all of my boots. At first, I was kind of skeptical and didn't want to like beat them up, but now I'm thinking about it. I just want to beat them up more, to not purposely beat them up, but to fit to my feet even more and add character, because the more it gets resoled and worn in, I don't want to get them have rebuilding them, but once they have that wear, they just look better. If you see pictures of people with their older boots that have been worn in and resoled many times, it just adds character. But yeah, black laces, you could probably find these black cotton laces anywhere online. I had these leftovers. Could literally probably find some on Amazon. I know there's tougher laces than these. If you want something tougher, there's some that have like even like those steel kind of laces, the wire laces. There's plenty of laces out there. Even leather laces. If you want different color leather laces, you can find them. And yeah, I've noticed also that the heel also, for me, adds comfort to when I'm just standing around. When you're just standing around, I feel like it keeps more stress off your calves, and just gives you that little podium where you're standing on, but it just feels a lot more comfortable when you're just standing around, and even more comfortable than even some of my sneakers. So that's the quality of Knicks Handmade. And yeah, hands down, Knicks is probably the best quality boot I own right now, and I'd love to get more pairs. hopefully they got some good deals coming up. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. My brother did the video on the hot shots. Maybe I could get him to do an update video on his, and we'll see what you guys think of these. And yeah, let me know if you guys have any of the Nick's Heritage boots. Sounds like a lot of you guys have some of their work boots. I'd love to get a pair of their work boots too, so I can actually work in. I don't want to be doing some crazy work in these. I mean, I probably could, but I wouldn't. I want to keep these more as the classic Heritage boot. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and like and subscribe.